Hello, just Gem here and welcome, or indeed welcome back to my channel. The keen-eyed among you will have spotted that there was no new makeup releases video last week because it got unceremoniously bumped for my review of the Adept Cosmetics Minka palette. Spoiler alert, that's a new release that I do have. It's been 3 weeks now since my last new, upcoming and recent releases video. So I'm not going to dawdle, I'm going to get stuck straight into it. The first thing I'm going to mention is a release from Wayne Goss that just missed the last one that I did, mainly because I don't think my brain acknowledged it, because Wayne Goss released yet more brushes. Wayne Goss has done a brush set collaboration with Beautylish, and it's the third in as many months, maybe even less, because that red set, maybe that was in the end of November, I'm not sure, I'd have to go back, but he had that red travel set, then he had the collab that he did with John Lewis, which I was very tempted to pick up, which I resisted the urge, even though John Lewis sent me a voucher for money off an order. And now he's got this brush set with Beautylish, and I can't help but think it's overkill. I don't doubt that Wayne Goss produces some incredible brushes that perform brilliantly, but 3 sets in 2/3 months to me seems excessive. And if you're a Wayne Goss fan and you're trying to keep up, it would be frustrating to have these 3 brush launches in really quick succession, especially if you bought the first one straight away, which I happen to think is the worst of the 3, and then you got these other 2 really nice brush collections released later. If I was going to buy any of the 3 sets he's released, it would be the collab with John Lewis, mainly because it's a nice compact set and a condensed, I say, not compact in size, it's a condensed set, and I really love the colour of those handles. So that would probably be the one I would go for. And I think the collab with Beautylish is, some of the brushes I think are redundant. I think there's too many, and that's why I'd lean more towards the John Lewis one. The red set that he did, no. Back to this particular release, the 3rd set of brushes. Would I buy them? No. Not even if money were no object. If money were no object, I'd go for the John Lewis collab set instead. That's what I would do. Summer Fridays have released these Dream Lip Oil for moisturising sheer coverage. Summer Fridays isn't a brand that I have tried. I've heard good things. To be honest, I'm just not in the market for any lip products at the moment. In fact, if anything, I'm trying to declutter and get rid of some of the lip products that I own. I'm finding at the moment that I'm reaching for the same lipsticks over and over again, and I think if I was to 1, refresh my memory of what I've actually got, and 2, declutter lipsticks that I genuinely will not use again, it will just make life much easier. Because I'm sure there are shades that I own and I don't even know I've got them. This looks nice, but no, it's not something that's enticing me to want to jump on the Summer Fridays bandwagon, as lovely as they look. Having said that though, if I were to take the plunge and dip in, I think the one I would go for would be Midnight Berry. That's the one that caught my eye the most, but on the whole it would be a pass from me. Similarly, Tower 28, I think I've got a Tower 28 gloss, which I got either in a cult beauty box or in an advent calendar, I can't remember which, and I do quite like that gloss actually. I've used it a few times as a topper for a lip combo in the past, and it's the Red Bean Mochi? I'm going to go with Mochi, I feel like it would be Mochi, and that looks like quite a nice universally flattering colour, and I could be tempted, but I'm quite happy with the one Tower 28 lip gloss that I've got. So I've already mentioned that new makeup got bumped last week because I was reviewing the Minka palette from Adept Cosmetics. For reasons unknown to me and that I will never comprehend, Adept Cosmetics decided to send me PR. I mean, I did apply, but I don't know what it was about my small following made them think, oh yeah, Gem, let's send her some stuff. But they did. Funnily enough though, Minka did catch my eye, and I know you're probably thinking, yeah, you're only just saying that, but no, it's purple. Of course it caught my eye. And I was immediately drawn to the purples, and then that shade Joshua in there. Would I have bought it? To be honest, I don't know necessarily, because, and it's the reason I've not purchased from Adept yet, it's just so expensive to get it here. It's so pricey. Monolith is an option, it definitely is, and I think I might go down that route to now go back historically and acquire some other Adept palettes. I mentioned that one of the palettes from 2024 that I still wanted in 2025 was Flying Fiddles, and now that I've tried Minka, I think I'm gonna have to like push that to the top of the list. Minka I'd have picked up if money were no object, but then it's like now I have it in my hand. If like current Gem could go back to the future and like whisper in Gem's ear, who wasn't getting PR, I'd say that Minka palette, you might want to dig deep, suck it up and get it. That's how good I think it is, genuinely. They've also sent me Vivette, which I'm yet to try, and I'm wondering if it's going to make me eat my words, because I was re-watching What Do I Think of It Now, where I had a massive rant about the Vivette palette, but that's for another video. But Minka, it would have been a yes if money were no object for me. Colourpop, I'm trying to think if the other Colourpop release comes in this or if it was in the last one. I feel like I've talked about the other one already, the New Moon release, so we'll just stick to A Shadow of Secrets. I'm not even going to dwell that long on it. No, it would be a skip from me. New Moon I'd be more likely to pick up, but this one, it's got a blandness to it. Normally, like looking at that, it's colours that I think, yes, I want that, but no, it would just be a no. Notoriously Morbid, Life and Death. Now this looks intriguing. I really like the mixture of pink and green, and I think what's the saying, pink and green should never be seen. I think that's bollocks. I think pink and green go splendidly together. I mean, has anyone ever told a rose to do one because it had pink petals and green leaves and stems? No. Roses are beautiful. Pink and green, I think, is a delightful combination, and this looks beautiful. Yes, if money were no object, I would like that very much. Those swatches are delightful. Rare Beauty Contour. I've heard mixed reviews about this. I think, funnily enough, it's the lighter shades that have the issues. It's as if the lighter shades don't have enough coolness to them, but from the reviews I've seen, the darker contours are coming off really well. I don't really contour much. I've got the Made by Mitchell curve case in Deep and in Deeper Than Deep, and I'll occasionally dip into that for a contour. And I have now used a few Rare Beauty products enough for them to be on my radar and see what they're bringing out, because I was impressed with what I used, but I just don't think I use contour enough to splurge on an additional product when I'm barely using the ones that I've got in my curve case. I'm very much a blush person, and now I've started getting more into bronzer, but I still haven't sort of tipped into the contour aspect of things yet. So while I'm looking out for other Rare Beauty products, in fact I placed an order for the new like body butter that they've done, because I've heard that's really, really nice, but cosmetics wise there's nothing from them at the moment that I would want to pick up. I don't think I'd put this on my wish list even if money were no object. I think I said, which video was it when I said I'm not allowed to buy any blush or highlighter this year? And then DD Signature has come out with these two blush trios, an orangey one and a purpley one, and they both look stunning. She was on a live actually, was it last night or the night before, and she was demoing them. And the highlighter as well that comes in the set, and I've just like blanket statement, I was like, no, you're not allowed any blush or any highlighter next year. And straight out the gate, DD Signature's come out with those, and they're beautiful. Like the pigment, I love how pigmented they are. And in the live, she was showing you sort of how to put them on, and she was showing you how you could sort of go in lightly and then build up if you wanted to, and you could layer in between the trios. Again, I think the main thing that's stopping like real life gem picking this up is it's a US brand and the expense. I sound like a broken record. So I think I'd put this in yes if money were no object, because gem should not be buying any blushes. But these are nice. They are really nice. Really, really nice. Tarte Cosmetics have got this Aspen Ovard face and eye palette. No, I don't think this is designed with someone with a deeper complexion in mind at all. No, just no. Natasha Denona is releasing these blush duos, high blush, cloudy cream cheek duos. These names are getting longer and longer all the time. Just, they kind of look nice, but then because I've got points on the Natasha Denona website. I think I qualify for like $20 off from doing reviews and stuff. So I thought to myself, well, maybe I've got enough to cover the majority of a blush. No. One blush, one duo, £41. £41 for a blush. Are you... No, that is obscene. I mean, I'm not supposed to be buying blush at all this year, as we've established, but I thought to myself, do you know what, if I've got this voucher and it's going to take care of a chunk of the price, then maybe I'll buy one for like review purposes. But £41 for a blush. I've got a NYX bronzer that I've got on as a blush today, and that was what, £8? So I just feel like I can't justify that amount of money for a blush duo. I do like the packaging. I think the packaging is really, really nice. It's really, really slick. And I watched Wayne Goss's review that he uploaded. He's gone back to doing like really, really short and snappy YouTube videos. I watched his review and he rates them, but it's too much. I can buy an entire eyeshadow palette for that. Just, no, it's obscene, Natasha. Obscene. Okay. So, the day I'm filming, this has just been released, and it's Cosmic Brushes, The Lovers. And I'm going back and forth on this, because that tealy side, like the sort of greeny blue side, I can 100% dupe that. It's in Longing, those shades are in Longing, those shades are in Ghost Town USA. Like if you're over on Instagram and you do follow me on there, you'll have seen I posted in stories the similarities between The Lovers and Nomad Ghost Town USA. It might be, so it's gone live on the website this evening, and it's gonna be live on the TikTok shop on Monday. So I am picking one up for someone in the States, because I'm going to take it with me when I go and post with a few other cosmic palettes. I can't make up my mind. It's £26, so it's a couple of pounds cheaper than their palettes normally are. And it is a beautiful colour story. Like, there's no denying that. It is a beautiful colour story. But considering I'm trying to be more considered in my purchases and I'm all about the duping these days, I feel like I can't really justify getting this palette as much as I want to, because I love cosmic brushes. I feel like I can't justify it. I'm undecided, and I think it might be one of those things, it could end up being an impulse thing when I'm on the live. When I tune into the live on Monday, if I'm picking one up anyway, I might just throw 2 in the basket. I don't doubt I'll enjoy the formula, and I do think it's a beautiful colour story, and one of the reasons I think it's a beautiful colour story is because I've already got it, so I know it's a beautiful colour story. So watch this space. I'll probably spend the entire weekend going back and forth, but it'll probably boil down to when I pick up that palette for my friend in the States, whether it's 1 or 2 palettes that ends up going in that basket. Gourmand Girls have released a vampy Valentine's palette called Bitten. Maybe, I don't know if I talk about all of these together, but I think it's Bitten, Smitten, the Jolie Beauty one, which has only just come out, Tainted, I think it's called, Tainted. And then they're all really similar to a few palettes that have been out already, Sinister, Cosmic Brushes, and Vamp, Bella Beauté Bar. I said this on my stories because I put a picture up comparing all of these palettes and just showing how they've got this very similar vampy, gothy, purpley, reddy, black colour story about them, and they're similar. They are similar, and I won't be the only person who's noticed that, but I just wanted to put some pictures side by side just to demonstrate that fact. And I followed it up by saying, you know, I'm not being shady. I'm not accusing any of these brands of copying each other. Given how product development works, that is not going to be the case. I feel really bad for Jolie Beauty because you'll have this palette in the pipeline. You'll have designed it and you've been like really happy. This is going to be your Valentine's Day launch. You're really pleased with the collection. You've been back and forth with the factory. You've nailed it. You know, you've got the formula how you want it. You've got the colour story how you want it. You've got the arrangement how you want it. And you're really excited to do this Valentine's palette launch. And then you're watching, and then Vamp comes out by Bella Beauté Bar, and you're like, oh, okay, that looks a bit similar to ours, but you know, it's one palette, it's all right. Then Sinister comes out, and you're probably thinking, oh, okay, that's perhaps also a bit closer than we would like, but you know, it's okay. And then Smitten and Bitten, and you're probably sitting there thinking, well, for fuck's sake, because you can't just cancel it. You know, you've been planning this and designing this for God knows how long at this point, so it's not something you can just abandon. So you've got to plough on ahead, but at this point you're the 5th, 6th or whatever palette it is to follow that colour story, because I think there's even the Crow, which I didn't even include in that. But that's all a very long-winded and convoluted way of saying no. I mean, I've got Sinister, which I love, by the way. I've filmed with that. I haven't I don't know when that's going to go up, but spoiler alert, really, really like Sinister. And as I've mentioned, I love Cosmic's formula, and I don't have that colour story. Like, I didn't before I got Sinister, but now I have Sinister. I'm not going to pick up Smitten or Bitten or Vamp or The Crow or Tainted by Jolie Beauty. And I feel bad for the brands that are kind of similar colour story that have come out last, because a lot of people will have already picked up Cosmic and Vamp. And it's the formula as well. I don't know what the Jolie Beauty formula is like, but from what I've heard from people, even Erica tested out the Carnival palette and she wasn't sold. She had a few issues with a few of the shades in there, and of all the releases, I think Carnival's probably the one I'd be most tempted to try from Jolie Beauty. And I was speaking to someone else who was telling me that the Jolie Beauty formula is not all that. I still want to try them down the line, so I'm going to wait for a colour story that grabs me and test them out just so I know what the formula is like. But my first try of Jolie Beauty is not going to be with the Tainted palette. I'll be interested to know how well that palette does, just because of how many similar releases have come before it. I'm also kind of nervous. Rooks from Artitude Cosmetics is going to be doing a Valentine's Day launch, and hers is launching on actual Valentine's Day. And she's mentioned it's almost anti-Valentine's, but I hope it's not anti-Valentine's in the way these palettes have been. I'm just really nervous it's going to be a really similar colour story. I don't know, I'm rooting for Rooks. I hope it's a nice, unique colour story and that it's worth picking up. We'll see. But Jolie Beauty, Gourmand Girls, they're an easy pass for me. Gourmand Girls is a bit more tempting, is a little bit more different, but it's still just that little bit too close. Having said that, I definitely do rate the Gourmand Girls formula, so if it wasn't for the fact that the colour story was super close, I may have been tempted. Pat McGrath is doing... So I haven't even looked at this properly because I saw it and I just thought, what the hell? So Pat's been doing this glass skin finish thing at a lot of runways and stuff, and it's getting her a lot of attention for like creativity and whatnot, which is fair enough. And she's now released like a skincare mask, so it's Skin Fetish Glass 001 Artistry Mask. You put it on and it gives that glass, like that porcelain doll finish, but it's a skincare mask from what I'm gathering. And I'm just thinking, it's like gimmick. No, Pat, we don't want that from you. Or if maybe people did want that from you, but they probably wanted it from you when that glass skin look was doing the rounds back in the day. I say back in the day as if this was decades ago. It was only like a year or two. That's when people wanted it. And I get it. Product development, these things take time. But it almost feels like she's missed her own boat. And I don't know if this is what people want. People want a new mothership that is different and creative without a pink or a gold in sight. That's what people want. I don't think people want a glass skin mask thing. It's just weird. It's a hard pass. Not even if money were no object. No. Just no. Okay, these are cute. These are the Cleona, I think that's how you pronounce it, Cleona Garland and Garden Quads. And these are really pretty. Cleona, they're based in Canada. And it's the same issue as getting stuff from the US. It's pricey, but these are really cute. Really lovely little quads. Quads are restrictive. I think that's probably the only reason why I wouldn't buy a quad, or at least an expensive quad. If it's reasonably priced for considering there's only 4 shades in there, then I'm open to it. I'm not buying them, but I probably would if money were no object. Fantasy Cosmetica have released a palette called Monk. And I very nearly bought this because it got released at the same time Harvest of Souls was restocked. I'm not going to go into that too much because I've got a whole entire video coming where I have duped Monk. I think I've done a pretty good job. Video coming at some point. You'll have to let me know if you think I've done a good job with the dupe. While I did want Monk, and I was genuinely actually going to purchase that, I'm kind of glad that the purchase didn't go ahead because it has forced me to look more closely at what I already have and produce this dupe, which it's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. So Monk, it would have been a yes because I was 100% going to buy it. And then I think it shifted into yes if money were no object. And now I've managed to dupe it. And yes, I know the formula's not going to be the same. There's going to be some sparkle and some shift and some je ne sais quoi in the Monk palette. But I'm pretty happy with the dupe that I managed to get. And if I ever want to create a Monk based look that will be what I'll do. I'll go for the palette I used to create the dupe. So it's gone from yes to yes if money were no object to no, because in a way I have it already. Charlotte Tilbury is releasing these 9-pan palettes in this horrific Revolution-esque packaging. It's just, for Charlotte Tilbury, you would expect so much more. The colour stories in them are beautiful. I think they're lovely, curated 9-pan palettes. The blue one especially caught my eye, but I very quickly told myself to have a word. I always have to keep telling myself whenever I see a blue themed palette, you know, Realm of Fairies, Bella Beauté Bar, no, don't do it. But the other ones in this collection, I do think they're really nice. And again, as with Natasha Denona, Wayne Goss has reviewed these palettes and he rates them. He really, really does. But the price point, from what I'm seeing, the murmurings on the socials, is they're going to be $60 or $70 / euros. And I just think that that's excessive for 9 shades in what looks like Revolution Pro packaging. I think I know what the thinking behind it is. They're thinking, oh, but you can just see the colour story as soon as you pick the palette up. I get that, but I feel like it could have been executed so much better than it was. It just screams cheap. I don't know, maybe if I was to see them in person, I might change my mind on that, but just from seeing the footage that I've seen over on Instagram and sort of people demoing them, the packaging alone makes it a hard pass. For that price point, I would expect better. And it's a shame because, I mean, as I say, Wayne rates them, and he is the only person I think who has kind of called out Lisa Eldridge for the pitiful amount of products that you get in those pinpoint concealers. So generally I feel like Wayne is someone whose opinion you can trust. So I don't disbelieve him when he says that the Natasha Denona and Charlotte Tilbury products are good. My problem is they may be good, but I don't know if they're good enough to justify the price points that they're being sold at. So speaking of 9-pan palettes, Bella Beauté Bar have released a 9-pan palette called Morally Grey, and I'm not going to dwell on this. While I want to try Bella Beauté Bar, Poison Garden, Morally Grey is not something that would ever cross my mind to pick up. It's not my kind of thing, and even if it were my kind of thing, I could probably successfully dupe that colour story with what I've got. It's pretty. Like, I think the little heart-shaped pans are adorable. I do. But Morally Grey, it's not my cup of tea. CXC Beauty keep popping up. Well, they keep popping up because they pop up and I like their stuff, so they pop up more. The guy, I do know his name. His name just popped out of my head. That's really irritating. But the guy at CXC Beauty, he started following me, and that's what kind of drew my attention to the brand. And I started seeing them pop up, and I really like their stuff. But all their stuff, all the colour stories, I have them already. So they've got Infrared, and I think there's another one. Is it Love Hurts? Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot his name. His name is Christian. That's my brother's name. Good lord. How did I forget that? No wonder I was so annoyed at myself for forgetting. What a knobhead I am. Okay, what are these palettes called? Love is Painful. I was close. So you've got the big palettes, and then you've got the smaller 9-pans. Everyone's loving a 9-pan these days. Loving a 9-pan. The bigger palettes, and then you've got like a condensed 9-pan of each one. I still can't believe I forgot his name was Christian. Ridiculous. I'm not going to buy for the sake of it. I would like to try the brand, I 100% would, but it's got to be a colour story that's unique enough to warrant me picking it up. And as beautiful as both these palettes are, Infrared and Love is Painful in particular, they're a bit too monochromatic, and I just feel like I can get those vibes from Berries. Even Sinister has got some really nice reds. I can't justify these colours. I have been on the CXC website and I was going through, and every time I saw a palette that I really liked, I thought, oh, but you've got Culturals, or oh, but you've got Divination. There was always a palette that made me think it's not worth picking that one up because you've got something already that's too similar. And that's probably going to be the thing going forward now. I've got that many palettes that it's going to take something unreal to make me want to go for it. That's why I'm torn over whether or not to pick up the Lovers, to be honest, because I know I have those shades. I know I do. So going forward, it's about whether, and I think I said this before, sometimes you know you've got the shades, but you know you've got them across maybe 3 or 4 palettes. So you buy that new palette because it's got some of your favourite shades scattered across your collection in one. That would make it worthwhile. But I don't think I'd even have to pull out too many palettes to dupe the Lovers. So anyway, we're not talking about the Lovers anymore. We're talking about CXC Beauty. And as beautiful as these are, especially now that you can, so they do it so you can buy it in black or white packaging, which I think is really nice. I prefer the black packaging because I just think it makes the shades really pop. So I'm watching this brand, I'm watching CXC Beauty, I'm waiting for a colour story that really jumps out at me, and every now and again I still go back onto the website just to see, did I miss anything, is there anything that I'd want to pick up. It's a pass for these Valentine's palettes. Maybe I'll put them in if money were no object, actually. If money were no object, yes, I would buy these. But realistically speaking, no. Sorry, Christian. Daydreamer from Beauty Bay. I have bought this. This was released yesterday and I've ordered it. And when I first saw it, I was like, no, I'm not getting it. Absolutely not. It's boring. It's got probably about 3-4 shades that I think would look really nice on my skin tone. To be fair, all the shimmers I think would work. I mean, shimmers are different, but they're mattes that are in there. There's no depth and they all look very samey. And I was even on a live yesterday when they launched it, and I asked one of the girls who was on the live if she could swatch these 3-4 shades that looked really, really close on her hand. And then she swatched them, and I'll put the picture up, and she held out her hand and I was like, where's the range? Where's the range? And the only reason I've picked it up is because, and I'd almost forgotten this, and it's a good thing I remembered, but I actually won this £20 voucher from Beauty Bay, which was going to expire at the end of this month anyway. So I thought, you know what? Pick it up. Let's see. You've already got these preconceived thoughts of how this palette is going to look and how it's going to perform. Pick it up and see. Do a review. How dark skin friendly is it? Will it work? Do the shades in there have enough pigment to still give you a nice look? I might have to dip into another shade maybe to get another palette even, just to get some nice deepening shades. But I'm curious, you know, maybe I can create some pretty, almost ethereal like looks where I just use the purple shade that's in there to deepen things up. I don't know. And in the end, my curiosity was piqued that much that I thought, just use that voucher, put in an order, and just see. It's 16 quid. It's not breaking the bank. Because I've used this voucher, it doesn't even go against my makeup budget that I've set aside. Like, I don't feel like I need to put it in my makeup budget. So I've picked it up. We'll see. Normally I get my orders from Beauty Bay quite quickly. In fact, I'm surprised I don't have it already, because even though I don't pay for next day delivery, I often get it. but it was a launch order, so maybe it's just going to take a little bit longer than it normally does. I mean, obviously, yes, I've picked it up, but that was kind of more of an if money were no object thing because I had a voucher. A voucher with a time limit. So, there we go. It's on the way. Morphe are releasing these 2 palettes, and the first one looks like someone took all the decent colours from the Daydreamer palette that Beauty Bay are releasing, took all the decent colours out, and then just released this. Having said that though, it does have a brown to give a bit of depth. So maybe I'm being overly critical. And it's another 9 pan. It's another 9 pan. And there's 2 of them. I think, where's the other? Okay. The other one is a bit more cool toned. It's got like purples. It's got a nice minty green. I think I'm probably more drawn to that second one. Like, what surprise. Purple, green. Purpley blue leaning colour. They're both just lacking depth. I'm not sure what the price point is because I've cut them out of this screenshot here. I'd be curious to know what the price point is. On the darker arm, they just don't look that good. A few of the shimmers actually. Snakebite looks nice. And then Honey Blossom. Ooh, and Deeper. It would be a no for both of them. There's not enough to them to make me want to pick either of those 9 pans from Morphe up. And I don't know what Morphe's formula is like right now. I feel like Morphe go through phases with their formula where it's really, really good and then when it's abysmal. So I don't feel like there's consistency with Morphe palettes. You never know what you're getting. If I could cherry pick, if I could sort of create my own palette from those 18 shades in total, I might be able to get something I like, but individually, no. And then sort of sneaking in, I spotted this earlier, so back to DD Signature, she's coming out with a 9 pan palette. Again, everyone's releasing 9 pans at the moment. Shattered Romance, so everyone's really getting in on the Valentine's thing. It's interesting, because obviously I haven't done a full year on my channel. I started after Valentine's Day, so I missed all the Valentine's releases last year. So is this what it's like every year with all of the makeup companies just queuing up doing Valentine's releases? I knew Beauty Bay did a Valentine's release every year, and there's only been 1 or 2 that I've looked at and really liked. I didn't end up buying any of them, but I do kind of wish I'd bought, I think it's Reckless Romance and not Love Notes. I've forgotten the name of the other one that they brought out that I did quite like the look of. Is this what it's like every January? I guess it's a good way to lull people out of a low or no buy, thrust a Valentine's themed palette in their face and hope that they pick it up. This looks interesting. So from what I'm gathering, I think DD normally reveals a column or a row, and she's done swatches. Those do look nice. And the thing is with DD Signature, you've never got to be concerned about whether or not it's going to work on a deeper skin tone. Those 3 that she's showing, they look good. We've only seen 1/3 of the palette, but if that's any indication, that would be in Yes If Money Were No Object. I've had a look, and I think that is everything I'd kind of wanted to cover that has either come out in the last couple of weeks or is about to come out. I'm trying to think if there's any other releases that I know are coming up that have been talked about but perhaps not even posted on social media yet. I think for now it's just Artitude. Have I said I'm picking up anything for certain? Oh yeah, the Beauty Bay palette, because that's ordered and it's on its way. That wasn't a purchase made with conviction. That was just I've got a voucher, I might as well. I don't have high hopes for that, I'm not going to lie. I feel like I might go into that review with a bit of side eye from the go. What releases that are coming out or that have come out are you eyeing or are you considering? Are you in that, maybe you're in a no buy but it's temporary, maybe you're in a no buy just for the beginning of the year or just January because December was a bit spendy So maybe January's your no buy month, but you're cataloguing, you're bookmarking stuff ready for when your no buy or low buy lifts in February. Or maybe it's longer term, I don't know. But I'm curious to know if there's anything that's come out or that is coming out that you're thinking of picking up. And what releases would you say I missed when I did my rundown? I mean, I don't cover everything because I'd be here all day. But if there's anything key that you thought, oh, Jem, I'm surprised you didn't mention that. What about blah? Let me know, because I'm curious. What did I miss? What did I miss? As always, thank you for taking the time to watch. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I also hope to see you again in a video in a not too distant future. Take care. Bye.